आद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 9, verse number 1. So in the previous chapter we read about Yashoda seeing the Vishwarupa in Krishna's belly and not being changed in her relationship with him. So on that, Parikshit Maharaj had raised the question that what did she do to attain such a elevated position. So then Sukadeva Goswami explained that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they were Drona and Dhara in their past life, and they got the boon from Brahma. So now he continues to speak more about the love of Yashoda for Krishna. Sri Shuka Uvacha एकदा गृहदासीषु यशोदानन्दगेहिनी कर्मान्तरनियुक्तासु निर्ममन्थ स्वयं दधिः. So one day when all the maid servants of the house, they were busy doing something else, then Yashoda, wife of Nanda Maharaj, she herself churned the yogurt, dadhi nirmamantha swayam. So bhakti has to be performed by oneself. It is not that you hire servants and then they do it and he says this, he's my pujari, he's my cook, he's my this, he's my that. So the meaning here is that bhakti is to be performed by oneself. Of course, you cannot do everything yourself because bhakti involves so many things. But it does not mean that we don't do and we are only just ordering others. We also have to do it. So that is the meaning of that Swayam Dadhi Nirmamantha. Although there are many maid servant, at least 3 or more, because plural, Griha Dashisu, so there should be minimum 3. So Karmantara Niyuktasu, they were engaged in some other work, and therefore Yashoda herself engaged in churning the yogurt, because she was thinking that maybe these servants are not doing good job and they are not churning the yogurt properly. Therefore Krishna is not very pleased with this butter which comes out, and that's why he is stealing. So she does not like this, that my son becomes a thief. So he thought that I will churn myself, I will take out nice fresh butter and give to him. So then he will give up this stealing habit. So for that says that Swayam Nirmamantha, that she churned it herself. Also devotional activities are pleasurable. You like to do them. They are not. This is the difference between work and seva, karma and seva. So karma, action, duty is something you have to do. That's what is called duty. There's a vidhan for that. And seva is which you actually like to do. So she likes to do it also. So devotees are very happy to do seva. Not that when they are given seva, then their air goes out. Why I have to do this? Why someone else cannot do this? So that is not the mood of a devotee. They are enthusiastic about seva. Without seva, how can they be bhakta without seva? Bhakta means sevak. Therefore we say dasa. So dasa or dasi means that we do seva, and seva is our life, because that's our identity, that's our name and personality have to be together. Not person is called Padmalochan but he is blind. Padmalochan means lotus-eyed. So if we are dasa or dasi, then we should be doing seva, otherwise it's just a name like Padmalochan for a blind man. So Yashoda is therefore showing by her own example that she is the mother of Krishna, and therefore she is herself churning the yogurt. So here of course it is said that she has karmantara niyukta, so that the other helpers, they were engaged in some other duties. So these maid servants are not here some hired maid servants. These are also those who are having motherly affection for Krishna, because only they get the chance to do service like this. That means they were also churning yogurt sometimes. That's why it is specifically said here that Yashoda did herself. Means at other days or other times they were also doing it, and they must also be feeding Krishna. So those who have Vatsalya, their sadhana is in Vatsalya Bhav, so they are the one who will get a position like this. They will be an assistant of Yashoda in their perfected stage, and they will get to see Krishna's childhood pastime because they are in the same house. They will get to churn, feed him, play with him. So these are not ordinary servants. Generally when you hear the word servant, dasa, then people feel something inferior. Here on the path of bhakti, this is actually a great honor to be known as dasa or griha dasi. So to be a servant in Yashoda's house, it's a big fortune. In fact, we don't want to be just known as dasa, but we want to be known as dasa, servant of servant. Material world, you call somebody servant, people become upset. Once I used the word servant for my employee here, that one Western lady, she became so angry. Says, why are you calling them servant? So I said, what shall I call? She said, no, employee. I said, okay, I didn't know that. Sometimes terminology is not clear. So here in India we have no problem calling them as Naukar. In Sanskrit, Hindi they call Naukar or Dasa. Dasa is also wrong word now. It's like you have somebody as your slave. So yani hi gitani tad bala charitani cha dadhi nirmanthane kale smaranti tani agayata. So now what she was doing while she was churning the yogurt, at that time she was also singing songs about Krishna's pastimes in the childhood pastime. Tad bala charitani, whatever he has done till now, killing Putana, Saktasura, or whatever else he was doing. So some Brajvasis, there also in village also there are people who have ability to make poems. So they made poem about his activities, and they must have become popular already because Yashoda herself is singing them. So that means when we do seva, we can also sing kirtan. So how they say Bengali? Hathe kam mukhe nam, right? In Bangla they say like, I heard in Bengali he says Hathe kam mukhe nam. With hand you do the work, with mouth you have the nam. So that's what she was doing. With the hands she was churning, with the mouth she was singing. So in the olden days in India, when in the villages, of course now everywhere things are changing in India also, but I have seen this, that ladies, this was their seva in the morning in the village, that you have to grind flour every day. You have to grind because there were no grinding mills, so you have to do it by hand. There are two stones and they have a handle, and you put little and you rotate it, and then you churn the yogurt, and all this has to be done in the morning because then you have to cook breakfast. So this is something which is done before day rise, sunrise, and they sing at that time, so it keeps their mind also busy. Some folk songs, something. So here they are devotees, so they are singing songs about Krishna himself. So this is the joy of bhakti. It is very joyful. Otherwise people get up in the morning, they are in bad mood. Then they drink coffee even before brushing their teeth. Yeah, that's what they do. So you get up and you are engaged in such nice service. And when you churn yogurt, that also makes a nice sound. If you have seen it, makes good sound. The yogurt, it splashes up and good smell comes from that. And sing Krishna songs. So this is the simple life of Vraja. No complication. So, commentary by Sri Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur. Nishidhya manthanam pitva stanam cha triptiman krudha bhandam bhitva drutam matra naume baddha ishvaraha. So in this 9th chapter there is a description that Yashoda Mata was churning yogurt and Krishna woke up and stopped her. Nisidhya manthanam, stopped her from churning and drank her breast milk, pitva stanam cha. But he was still drinking when Yashoda left him. So atriptiman, he was not yet satisfied, then he became angry, krudha. So bhandam bhitva drutam matra. So then he broke the pot and ran away. And then he was caught by the mother and bound. So this is described in the 9th chapter. And then there is one more line and some have 2 lines. You have 2 lines or one more line?
I have a second line. Yeah, Chorya Krodadiman Matra Baddhastam Krishna Radasi.
Only one.
No, 2.
Which is the second?
Yeah, okay. Chorya Krodadi Mad Jivan Gunar Bandai Rudaya Chorya Krodadiman Matra Baddhastam Krishna Radasi.
So is it Gunair Baddha eva or Baddhva eva?
Here it's Gunair Baddhaiva.
I don't know how this is possible. Because Baddha, they should have Visarga. Gunair Baddha.
Gunair Baddha.
It should be Baddhva eva. Baddhvaiva. That's what I think.
Baddha plus Eva.
No, Baddhva eva, Baddhvaiva. Because Baddha will have Visarga, then you cannot make something. Just like you have Baddha Ishvaraha in the previous line. Don't make something after that. So I don't know how it says Baddhaiva. Seems to be a mistake. In the first line also there is a mistake. Nisiddha manthanam. Should be Nisidhya. Nisiddha manthanam means manthan which is forbidden. That's not the meaning. He's stopping him from churning. So anyway, this is a sloka. He said, Chaurya krodhadi mad jivan gunair baddhva eva rodayehe. Chaurya krodhadi man matra baddhastvam Krishna rodishi. Vishnath Chakravarti is saying that, O Krishna, why are you crying? Krishna says, why? I am bound by my mother. Why are you bound? He says, because I stole and I am angry. He was angry and then he was stealing the butter from his own house. So Chaurya, Krodhadi man, Matra Baddhaya. And that's why I am crying. Hey Krishna, Rodishi, you are crying now? So he says, but you are the one, what you do? Chaurya Krodhadi man jivan gunair baddhva eva rode. You make the jivas who are thieves and who are angry, greedy, etc. by binding them with the gunas of prakriti. You are bound guna because guna is upon is on the guna. Guna is rope and guna is the guna of prakriti. So you bind them by the rope of gunas and make them cry. So now you are bound by the ropes of love. And why are you crying? So you get an experience how it feels like to be bound. So ati chamatkarakasya asadharanasya Shri Krishna Vishyak Nanda Yashoda आश्रयक महावात्सल्य प्रेमण है साधनम अपि असाधारणम अपूर्वम श्रेयो भवतुम अर्हति. So Parikshit Maharaj, his thought was that this Yashoda has so much wonderful love for Krishna. Ati chamatkarakasya asadharanasya. It is not ordinary love which she had for him, because after seeing the universal form, still she did not give up her thought of Krishna being her baby. So this is very amazing. This is chamatkarak. Sri Krishna Vishyak Nanda Yashoda Ashrak Mahavatsalya. So their Vatsalya is Mahavatsalya. Their parental love is supreme of Nanda and Yashoda. They are the Ashraya. Prema has Ashraya and Vishaya. So Krishna is the Vishaya, Krishna Vishayak, and Nanda Yashoda Ashrayak. So they are the receptacle, they are the substratum or Adhara, and Krishna is the Adheya of their Prema or object. So this Prema, it must have a very extraordinary sadhana to achieve this. Sadhanam api asadharanam apurvam shreyo bhavtum arhati. That the sadhana which to attain this kind of love must also be something very special, some very wonderful. But he did not hear anything like this. When he asked the question, Yashoda cha Mahabhaga, Papo yesya stanam hari, that Yashoda ki Nanda ki makarod Brahman, Shreya yasya mahodayam. What is the wonderful activity Nanda Maharaj did that he got such a position? What is the highly fortunate Yashoda do? So he did not say anything special. Right? Okay, they were Dara and Dhrona and they did some, he didn't even say that they did tapasya or anything. So tada anakarnitatvataha. So he did not hear something very extraordinary about their sadhana. So therefore he was not satisfied. It says, Prashna kartuho rajyo api chittam nati prasannam alakshana. So he was not very happy to hear this. He says, what is this? I want to know how they got this position. And he is just saying, oh, they were Drona and Dhara and Brahma came and this happened, that. So therefore Parikshit Maharaj was not happy. So Sukdev saw this. So he says, okay, then I will now explain you the real Siddhanta. Tatra mukhyam Siddhantam abhivanjayitum dinantargatam dama bandhan lilam vaktum upkramate. Therefore, to make the Siddhanta clear, which means that this is not attained by some sadhana. So, prasadam levhire gopi, that the prasad which gopi got, it is not available to anyone else. Srirapi anga samsraya. So this is not coming by some sadhana or anything like that. So to make this clear to Parikshit Maharaj, he begins to explain Dam Bandhan Leela, which happened in one of the days, Ekda iti. Deep Malika Mahotsav Dine iti Sri Vaishnav Toshna. So Sri Jiva Goswami explains that this happened on the day of Deepavali. So Dambandhan Leela happened on the Deepavali day. And that's why everybody was busy because next day is Govardhan Puja, and before Krishna lifted Govardhan, then every year the Gopas and Gopis, they used to do puja of Indrayag. So everyone was busy preparing things for Indrayag. It is a big festival. After the rainy season comes to an end and they worship Indra. Which was stopped by Krishna only. So therefore Jiva Goswami comes up with this day that it was a Deep Malika Mahotsava. Atra Syamaika Karna Turangam Avat Parardha Sankhyasu Api Goshu Madhye Rajasya Ya Padmagandhi Yadya Atisuswadu Sugandhi Payasa Sugandhi Trina Matra Charinya Sapta Ashtava Gavo Vartante. So Nanda Maharaj had a lot of cows, but he had some 7 or 8 cows which were very special. Everything about these cows was special. Just like there are special type of horses which are white in color, but they have one ear black. So that is the horse used for Ashwamedha. So just as that horse is very rare, Syamaika Karna Turangamavat Parardha Sankhyasu Api Gosumad. So Nanda Maharaj had many cows, and among millions and billions of cows, there are some cows which are called Padmagandhi, because their smell is like lotus. And they don't eat ordinary grass. The grass they eat also has to be fragrant. Sugandhi Payasa. And the milk which they give is also fragrant milk. Sugandhi grass, Sugandhi cow, and Sugandhi Payasa. So Sugandhi Trinamatra Charanya. They don't eat if the grass doesn't have that nice smell. So there was one rich man in the city, not in the city, but he had cow and he sold it. But the cow was bought by a person who was not very rich, poor man. So the rich man was feeding cow every day green grass. She never ate bhusa. But this man could not afford green grass. He was giving him dry chaff. So the cow would not eat it because she is not used to it. She has never eaten it. So he tried to request, pray to the cow with joint palms, please Mataji, eat, don't be hungry. Cow said no. So he was in great anxiety that if she does not eat, then she will die, and I put so much money to buy. So he went to the village chief, says my cow is not eating because she was eating green grass all the time and I cannot afford what to do. He says, I have a solution. It costs 10 rupees. He says, what is this? He says, go to the bazaar and buy green glasses. And put to the cow. So cow will see this is green. She will eat. Says you don't have to spend so much money on grass. So he did that, and actually the cow started eating. So it's green. So this cow, they are eating only Sugandhi Trinamatra Charinya. Sapta ashta eva gavo vartante. So he had only 7 or 8 cows like this, and so they were kept specifically for Krishna. So naturally they were not going out for grazing, they have to be staying. They were in personal care of Yashoda. So tasam eva dugdha dadhyadikam matputrasya rochakam bhavishyati iti vicharayanti Sri Yashoda nirmamanta. So Yashoda, she knew that only the milk, yogurt and butter which is made from these cows' milk, that would be pleasing to my son. So therefore, and I should do it myself. So this is what she was churning. This was not ordinary milk, yogurt. So the yogurt was not ordinary, and the milk which was boiling was also not ordinary. It was special milk. We have not seen this. Can only imagine milk coming from the Padmagandha cow. Swayamiti swaputra rochniya navnita utkraman dugdhavartanadau vatsalya premotha hatadeva dasinam vidyatvam asambhavyam adyarabhya balakasya bhaksha navnita dugdhadikam sarvam ahameva sadhu sadhishyami yatha. So she was churning it herself, swameva. Why? Says that these dasis, these other ladies in the house, my assistants, they do not know how to make proper yogurt and proper butter, because making butter from yogurt is also an art. It doesn't come out easily, right? If it is too hot, it won't join. If it is too cold, it won't come out. The way it comes out from the yogurt is that it reaches certain temperature. When you churn it, by churning, the temperature increases, and then it separates from it, being hit again and again, and then it floats on the top. But if it is too hot, then it will just remain like very slippery, and it won't join and make a ball. And if it is too cold, it won't come out. So you have to be very expert in doing that. I have seen it. My mother, in the winter it will be too cold, she used to keep warm water and then mix it, and then it will come. Otherwise it won't come. It's not easy. You have to be experienced in that also. So she thought that they are not doing a good job, that's why my son is going and stealing. So I have to take care of it myself. And of course this, she says, is because of her vatsalya premotha hatadeva. Her wish, here of course the word hatha is used, means obstinate. I will do it myself. So this thought is coming because of her love for Krishna. Because they think that vigyatvam asambhavyam, that they are not good at it. So I will boil the milk myself. I will make the yogurt, because first you have to boil it, and then you have to put it in the, you have to put culture in it, and then yogurt. So it should become nice yogurt. If it is not set nicely, no butter will come out of it. It has to make good yogurt. For that it has to be boiled properly. So therefore he says, yatha tattadeva rochyan krishnas chauryartham pargriham ne yashyati iti bhava. So if I make it nice, then he will not go to others' house to steal butter. Because why should he steal if it is available in your house? Akke chet madhu vindet kimartham parvatam vajet. If you are having honey in the corner of your house, then why do you have to go to the mountains and searching for honey? So if he is going to get nice butter at home, then he will not steal. So that's what is. she thought. So dadhi iti anantanam dadhanam madhye yadekam sarabhutam purvadyu swameva sadhitam tadeviti bhavan. So swam nirmamantha dadhi. So here it is singular case which has been used. Of course dadhi is liquid, it is not some like can't give a number to it. Like 1 yogurt, 2 yogurt, 3 yogurt. So instead of saying swam nirmamantha dadhini, means lot of yogurts, one is used, dadhi, ekvachan, singular, dadhi dadhini dadhini, dadhi dadhini dadhini, dadhna dadhibhyam dadhivi. So we'll soon come to this. We are still on the Purushottam Linga. Brahmalinga is coming. So there you will see dadhi coming. So the meaning is that although she has a lot of dadhi from so many cows, but this was the best of them, Sarabhutam, which she had made herself the previous day. Purvadyu swameva sadhitam. Because if you want to make yogurt, you have to set it one day before. So nirmamantha iti uplakshanam dugdham api avartyamas. She churned it. It is an indicative of other things also, that she also boiled it, she also set it. She did everything herself. So that is the meaning. So the next sloka, the beauty of Yashoda, how she was churning, is being described. It's a very nice sloka describing Yashoda. But generally you don't see much description, although it's also not so much detail, but you get an idea about her person. So kshamam vasah prithukatittate bibhrati sutranadham putra sneha sunatakuchayugam jatakam pancha subhruh rajvakarsha shrama ujjalata srama bhujas chalat kankanau kundalecha switram vaktram kavar vigalan malati nirmamantha. So when she was churning, so this is how she appeared. Kshamam vasa prithukatitate bibhrati sutranadham. She wore on her hips, which were wide, because she was in advanced age, but she was still quite healthy and beautiful, and she was chubby. So she was having a nice garment, lower garment. So she is not wearing sari, she was wearing sutranadham prithukatitate. So means what you call as lehenga these days, or lehengi. So that's what she is putting on, because it is tied with her sutra, with her rope. That's what you call it, nada in Hindi. So if it was a sari, then it won't be sutranadham. So that means it is not sari, but it was a lehenga. Shamam vasa, but it was made with a very fine cloth. So kshamam also means atasi, that not silk, what is this, that linseed? Linen. So it's made from fine linen. Shamam vasa prithukatitate bibhrati sutranadham putra sneha snuta kuch yugam jatakampam cha subhru. And because of love for Krishna, the milk was flowing from her breast. And when she was moving, the breasts were also moving, her whole body was moving. And she is called here as Subhru, means she has very nice eyebrows. Rajva Karsha Shrama Bhuja Chalat Kankano Kundaleja. And she was moving the rope, you have to churn with both hands. So her hands were performing the labor of churning, and because of that her kankan and kundala both were moving. So her bangles, golden bangles and earrings, they both were shaking because the whole body shakes when you churn. And Svinnam Vaktram, and there were drops of perspiration on her face because of the hard work. Kabara Vigalan Malati Nirmamant. So by the time of Deepavali it is not hot season, and by that time it is not, summer is gone. So if you still having sweat on her face, means she was working hard. I mean, in the summer you can sweat without doing anything, but if she is sweating in the month of October, morning time, so means he is working hard. So Svinnam Vaktram Kabara Vigalan Malati Nirmamanta. And then when she was moving like this, there were Malati flower garland tied to her braid, and the flowers, they were falling down from her head because of the movingness. So many commentators write many things about flowers. In this, Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur does not write. Jiva Goswami writes long commentaries. Why the flowers were falling down? So flowers thought that we fall down because Krishna is going to walk, so we honor to be under his feet. Or they were thinking that, look, Mother Yashoda is churning yogurt, she is doing seva, we should be at her feet, not at her head. This is not the place for us to be. She is making yogurt for Krishna, we should be falling at her feet, not sitting on the head. So Vatsalya Premna Roop Gunabhyam Cha Krishnasya Yasodeva Anurupa Mata Iti Dyotayan. So by the Vatsalya Prema, the love, she was qualified to be Krishna's mother both by her Rupa, her form, her beauty, and also by her quality, her character. So means she was beautiful, she had the appropriate body to be Krishna's mother and also the character. Yashoda eva anurupa mata iti dyotyam. So to indicate, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking this to indicate how she was the mother suitable for Krishna. Vatsalya Rasaposaka Nam Avashya Kartavyam Sri Krishna Matur Dhyanamaha. The other purpose of this verse is that this verse is a verse of meditation for those who want to do Vatsalya Rasa Upasana. Means those who want to have Vatsalya Prema for Krishna, then this is compulsory, necessary, this is the sadhana for them to meditate on Yashoda if they are female, or Nanda Maharaj if they are male. So therefore this verse is spoken with the intention that you can meditate on her, what is being described here. Chaumam atsitam tutham. So chaumam means made from the thread of atasi or this linseed. Pita chitram ati sukshmam bhavet. And it was yellowish in color and very fine cloth. Chaumam vasa is used many times. So it means fine cloth, yellow color. Tena asyaha syam varnatvam kramadipikoktam dhvanitam. So generally you see the painting of Mother Yashoda, she is shown of fair color. But according to Kramadipika, she is having the same bodily hue as Krishna. Nanda Maharaj is fair, but Yashoda is Shyamvarna, dark color. So that's why Yashoda is suitable mother for Krishna, because Krishna has the color of mother, Yashoda. Although Surdas has written poem, Gore Nanda Yashoda Gori Tukat Syam Sarir. So Krishna is telling to Mother Yashoda that these children, they are teasing me, my friends. He says, Nanda Maharaj is fair, Yashoda is fair, why are you black? You are not their son. They just bought you with 5 kg buttermilk. So he was asking, am I really your child? Small, he believes what they are telling. He said, no, you are not, they are not your parent. You came from somewhere. So he is asking Mother Yashoda, am I like this? So then, I don't remember the whole thing. Very nice, he writes. So they are clapping and making fun of. Tari de hasat gwal bal. So Kramadipika Oktam Dhvanitam. So according to Kramadipika, she is of Syam Varna. But according to Gautamiya Tantra, she is fair colored. So maybe she is both. Sutranadham Nivya Nibaddham. What is the meaning of Sutranadham? So this is called Nivi, the thread by which you tie the lower garment. So that is means she was tied with that. Prithukati tate subhrurityabhyam sarvang saundaryatvam cha dhvanitam. So she had wide hips and beautiful eyebrows, and this is the sign of beauty. Not all this, that only bony and nothing except bones. So these days that is considered as beauty. In India, that is not considered as beauty. So he says this is an indicative of her beauty. This Prithukatitate and Subhro, these two words. Rajvor Akarshnena Shramo Yayos Tayor Bhujayos. So her arms were performing hard work of pulling the rope. So therefore it is said Rajva Akarsha Shrama Bhuja. Chalantau Kankano Vaktram Iti Anta Nam Bibhrati Iti Anena Sambandha. So Kankan and Kundala, on her face or cheeks were the earrings, and on the hand were Kankana, the bangles. So this is related with the verb Bibhrati. Megatulyat Kavrad Vigalanti Jalbindu Shreniva Malati Yasyasa. So he says that she has her braid and nice hair, which were black in color, although she was advanced in age, but she did not have grey hair. So hair is important. So they are compared to a cloud, and Malati is white in color. So Malati flower comes in Kartik month. So they were falling down as if like the drops of water from the black cloud. So Jalbindu Shreniva Malati Yasya Sa Kar Pratyaya Bhava Arsha. So there should have been a Ka Pratyaya here. Kabara Vigalanti Malati Ka means one who has like that. Bahuvrihi, kap pratyaya. Otherwise, kabar vigalanta malati, where will you fix it? Svinnam vaktram. So he says the sky is missing. This is to be considered as harsha. Any questions on this? Yes.
Maybe I was not attentive, but could it be that we could it be that we left out one verse?
One word?
One verse, the one before? Yani Yani Hagitani?
No, we did that. Oh, the commentary. Yes. I thought both verses here are together. I thought commentary is also together. So there are only 2 lines. For the second sloka, I didn't read the commentary. Sa prasiddhoya bala Krishna tasya charitani yani gitani gita chandasa kavi purandhribhi swayam vani baddhani tani smaranti anusandadhati agayata. So Mother Yashoda was singing songs which were composed about Krishna's pastimes by poets or by the Purandhari, means Nari, the women of Braja. So there are some ladies in the village, they also have the ability to write songs. So she was singing them. Grihanta Shayita Krishna Darsnothasya Swantak Shobha Upshante iti bhava. So this is an important point he makes. He says that Krishna was sleeping inside the house because Yashoda was also sleeping with Krishna. So these days the child is 6 months old and he is put in, what they call it? Crib. So he is put in the crib and then they put the crib in a separate room also, tie him. But Krishna is obviously more than one year old. He is walking already and talking. He could run. So he is still sleeping with his mother. So the mother Yashoda was sleeping with Krishna. Imagine this position of Yashoda. And then she thought, now I have to churn. So slowly she got up, not to disturb him. Otherwise he will also come with her. But she is feeling separation from him. She is her love. Grihanta Shayita Krishna Darsnothasya Swantak Shobhasya. She wants to see him. But she also has to do seva. So seva is also important, not just looking at him and enjoying his beauty. So now to calm her mind and quell this separation, she is singing songs about Krishna. She says that's the reason she is singing. So this way she feels pacified and continuing churning. Otherwise she would like to be with him. Who would not like to be with him? Okay, any question?
Bhaji, I have a question about these Padma Ganda cows. Are they all Nitya Siddhas? Or the ordinary cows can be, the position of a Braj cow can be had by an ordinary, by a sadhana siddha, but this special Padma Ganda cows?
Sadhana siddha is cow or human being? You are talking about sadhana.
A human being who wants to become a cow.
Okay, I thought you said sadhana.
A cow could become.
Yes, human being can become cow if they want. They can become Padma Gandha.
But also Padma. So what is the difference then? One has to do special sadhana for that?
Yeah. Everything doesn't come by doing. If you want ordinary position, you do ordinary sadhana. If you want special position, you have to do special sadhana. That's what he said.
But there are now some pradayas who teach that.
Why you want? Do you want like that or?
Thakur Bhaktivinoda actually wrote one poem
Yeah.
like that. I was saying that Thakur Bhaktivinoda wrote one poem as from the perspective of a Braja cow and praised and appreciated Krishna as a cow, as he said.
So therefore one has to meditate like that. Any other question?
I had one question actually as a follow-up from the previous class. I was just thinking a little bit again about this topic of the Drona and Dora entering into Nanda and Yashoda, and I was recalling that in the Krishna Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami explains it that Drona and Jara are expansions of Nanda and Yashoda, and this is actually them returning or coming
That
back.
is one explanation. He gave both. If you remember, he gave both explanations.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask, is Vishnu Chakravarti reading it differently, or is he sort of inside of that saying they're being depicted as sadhakas now as an illustration, but it could fit with what Jiva Goswami is saying?
Yes, it can fit with that also. Because the idea is this, that the point of describing these things is not they entered or not entered or anything. It's for us to inspire for our sadhana. So that we think, oh, Drona and Dhara, they can become. So then we can also attain position like this. But Siddhanta is that it is not possible, but you can still relish that position. So in the beginning it inspires people to be like that. Then they will study later on, then they will understand. But by now, you're already on the track.
And I had one other sort of tangential question that just came in my mind on the topic, because we were talking about how if we take it in the sense of them being sadhakas and they're jivas, and now they're entering the chitta, ahankar, etc. of Nanda and Yashoda, then as a slightly tangential question, I was wondering if, take for example, we have two anadi baddha jivas, and they have two different stacks of anadi karma, and then somehow we just extracted the two jivas and chucked one jiva in the other antakaran and chucked the other jiva in the antakaran, just flipped them somehow. Would they actually just go on acting utterly identically to the way they did before?
Yeah. Because it's just like I give the example of electricity. Okay, maybe electricity is not so clear, but think of a battery. That if you remove the battery of this computer and put in your computer and your battery in this computer, and these are same Mac, so they're compatible. So would it make any difference to how the computer will run? It won't make any difference. So it's exactly like that. Because the Jiva, the Atma itself doesn't have anything specific in it, which makes distinction, which makes it distinct from another Atma. It's only a Chitkana, as we have studied in Paramatma Sandarbha. So without it having a material body or spiritual body, there is no Vishesha which manifests. It remains like a Nirvishesha. This is the meaning of Nirvishesha. Anything else?
One more correction. Sometimes verses like this last one are used by people who want to claim that saris are not Vedic, because there are descriptions of gopis wearing belts, like here, Madhishutta wearing belt, Which, and as you said, this doesn't mean sari, it means some kind of, I don't know how you call it.
Well, this is Vraja dress.
Could you say something about it?
Yeah, this is the dress
Like
of
gopi dress.
gopis, but not that everybody was dressed like that. You see, it is described in Mahabharata, if I remember correctly, that when Subhadra, she married Arjuna, and then she came to Hastinapur, or was it Indraprastha? It must be Indraprastha because he married earlier. He married before Kurukshetra. So there was Indraprastha. So her dress was different, and if I'm not wrong, Draupadi was like making little fun of her because she was dressed differently, and if I'm not wrong, it is described that her dress was like the Vraja Gopas. So that means Draupadi's, her own dress was different. And now if you accept this, that Draupadi was being stripped in the assembly, although some scholars don't agree that this is, they said this was added by Hindus later on and all that, but that's, it is not true.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So there her sari was being pulled, because sari also is coming from a Sanskrit word, it's called shatika or shati. The word is shati. Shati became sari. Actually, it is in English they say sari. In Hindi it is still called sadi, which is close to shati. And shatika is from just like bala, balika. It's another word. So there, obviously, if she was wearing something like a lehenga like this, then there is nothing that you have to pull it, and Krishna has to add to it. It is tied. Then you have to break the thread and pull it away. But he was trying to pull it, and Krishna was supplying. So they are different. Even now you see the dresses, even the way men, women dress, they are different in different parts of India. If you go to, say, Manipur or that area, Assam, they wear differently. If you go here in north, differently. If you go to south, everywhere you can see the difference. Of course, now everything is getting mixed up and becoming uniform. Everybody is wearing jeans these days. Saris, like on some occasions, they wear, especially in the cities. So that's not true that it's not Vedic. Because there are so many other descriptions. You can read the plays, which is more than 2000 years old, before any Muslims or anyone came here. Islam was not even existing at that time. The description is being given there. Or you can see Bharatanatyam Shastra. These are books which all belong to BC time.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
This is regarding the description of Mother Yashoda. In this description, particularly this shloka 3, is suggested to be practiced as sadhana for those in Rāsa-līlā. But if description entails two colors of Yashoda, black and yellow, how one should meditate then?
Choose one. What is the problem? I mean, Vishwanath Chakravarti said she is black in color. Huh? The other one I mentioned, it's not mentioned in the commentary.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.